Hi, Manisha. Thank you for your essays. Sorry about the delay in providing you the feedback. We have had quite a lot of essays lately, but here is the feedback then. Now, first, the letter about the barking dog. Let's see. Dear Mr. Smith, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing to request you to control your pet Jackie as it barks for the whole day and it creates nuisance at my home. Okay, we have a very good salutation, by the way, accompanied by a very formal farewell and a great signature, because I always check that first. Your first paragraph is a good expression of your purpose, and you're being very polite and friendly. Apparently, you know your neighbor, you respect them, but you know them. And this is a great thing to use. Yes, awesome. But here, I really like the way you formulate correctly your purpose, but perhaps there could be a couple of words that we could adapt so that it is completely polite and respectful. If you say request you, that is very straightforward, very direct, bordering rude. Um, and perhaps you could say, I'm writing to kindly ask you to address the issue of your pet Jackie barking for the whole day, and thus, let's say, creating a lot of nuisance for me, or that can be felt even at my place, something like this. I don't think you need to put Jackie in inverted commas because, you know, it's a name, just like a person's name, it wouldn't require this. Okay. So next. Please allow me to explain my situation. Very good beginning, very good beginning. I have an immediate family and my children go to school. What do you mean by immediate family? This is not something that we use very often in English, and I'm not sure. I mean, you can speak of, let's say, extended family, but immediate family perhaps as a term of some sort, but not as an everyday word or expression. So you can say, I have a family of 3 and my children go to school. Last year they got admitted in the 10th board class and they're going to have exams next week. I'm not sure what you mean by board class. Perhaps they were. And by the way, yes, try not to use the verb get or any phrasal verbs if you want to sound sufficiently formal. And apparently you want to sound formal because you respect your neighbor, because you address them as Mr. Smith and you close in such a formal way. So perhaps you could say last year they were admitted in the 10th grade and now they have to graduate, and next week they will be sitting their exams. So this would be a more appropriate way to express the thought that you have here. Because your dog barks throughout day and night, you can say throughout the day, okay, throughout day and night, I wouldn't use the articles. Unfortunately, they are unable to concentrate on their studies. You concentrate on something. Consequently, now they have left preparation and asking for solution. What do you mean by left preparation? I'm not sure what you mean here. And if I am not sure, your score for vocabulary as well as for task achievement might suffer, because if I can't assess what you intended to say, I can't assess whether you are answering the question correctly. So again, I'm not sure what you mean here. Who is asking for solution? Your children? And what is left preparation? Perhaps this needs rewriting. Here I propose a viable solution for this problem. You own a big house and also in the last corner has a lawn along with the storeroom. Okay, let's take it sentence by sentence. I would not start by here. Perhaps you could go, I would like to propose a viable solution for the problem of your barking dog, or for the problem of your dog barking and my family getting distracted and annoyed. As you own a big house and there is a lawn and a storeroom in the distant corner of your yard, probably this is what you mean. I don't know what you mean by the last corner. There is no such thing. There's the left, right, I don't know, upper, lower corner, but I'm not sure what you mean by last corner. So this is a fragment, so it needs to be continued continued by the next sentence. But again, I'm not rewriting your sentence, as you can see. I'm saying what you should write. So I'm really hopeful that you're taking notes. So this sentence will need to be connected to the previous one and go. So as you own a big house and so on and so forth, I would like to request. Okay, I will write it this time. I would like to request that you move your dog to that area, or perhaps that I would like to kindly request again. That softens the word request here. Again, it's not the request in here. This is a direct request, so you can soften it by the word kindly, and you are offering a solution here to that area for a certain period, as this room is at a long, I wouldn't say larger distance or long distance, as this room is rather far away from my house, so the noise level would be reduced. So as a result, right? So avoid get, and again, I would rephrase this the way I told you. I hope you will consider my request. Okay, I would say my suggestion, because you're suggesting, or you could write even suggest here. And I hope you will consider my suggestion, and I look forward to hearing from you. Yours sincerely, Manisha Bathi. Okay, so yes, this is a nice answer. I told you try to make sure that you're always polite and respectful. Use the appropriate vocabulary and sentence structure, as I have just mentioned. And this letter will become much better. Now let's have a look at the green energy essay. Experts throughout both developing and developed world have debated whether the consumption of renewable resources reduces the costs and provides a clean environment, or has a harmful impact on energy security. Okay, that's a very nice sentence. You're using the C2 template. Way to go. I think I was not supposed to put this comma here, you see. I doubted that, but I decided to take the risk. Okay, but I would correct a little thing here, whether I would say the use but not consumption. You consume energy, but you cannot consume resources. That's a little vocabulary, collocation difference. Okay, reduces the cost and provides a clean environment, or it has a harmful impact on energy security. Yes, perfect. In my viewpoint, the rampant, wonderful vocabulary use, rampant, awesome. This is a very specific word, very appropriate here. Of natural resources, forges a risks. I wouldn't say forges, I would say poses. If this is much more academic, much more appropriate. Poses a risk for energy security with the ever-increasing industrialization. Okay. This essay will discuss both sides using examples from the UK government and recent IMF studies to demonstrate points of arguments. Okay. I happen to know that IMF means International Monetary Fund, right? But not everyone knows that. And it's not something that all the IELTS correctors, I don't know, just walk around knowing that. So remember, in the future, whenever you want to use an acronym, please make sure that you use the full form, or monetary fund. You can go like this, because further on you're going to use IMF absolutely freely, no big deal, so that you do not waste your word limit on 3 words every time. But you really have to specify what is IMF, okay? First time in the introduction. Great introduction, very good use of vocabulary. Ever increasing, yes, add a hyphen, yes, yes, yes. So do you need the comma or don't you need the comma? Make up your mind word. Okay, you need the comma before this or, so I was right. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that using green energy results in, not into, reduced prices and benefits the atmosphere. Okay. You don't need the also if you have and. The central reason behind this is twofold. And here we come, punctuation, twofold. Firstly, because it's more efficient if you use a good combination of short sentences and long sentences. And in this case, introducing the two reasons using the great word twofold here from the template can be done either like this, or you can put a colon here and go on with firstly with a small data. Firstly, consuming natural resources such as sun, water, and tides produces energy forms which are easily available. And I would go, thus, as a consequence, costs decrease. Okay. Again, we cannot consume natural resources. We can use natural resources using natural resources. Okay. Because consuming means something that you can really, I don't know, feel and touch, something more palpable. You can, and then consume has a connotation of either eat or read, watch, like consuming media. But no, using resources, I would suggest. Great word, tides, yes. Okay. And also, I would suggest a semicolon here, thus, as a consequence, or you can say, therefore, yes, or consequently, up to you. And again, these words are more economical. As a consequence, it's 3 words. Do you want to waste 3 words on a linking word? Secondly, masses get less dependency upon fossil fuels, which are the major substitutes of contamination levels in the environment. Wait. Great idea, but I'm kind of lost in the vocabulary. Sometimes this happens. You have a great idea, great formulation, but I stumble upon vocabulary misuse or imprecise use, and I start thinking, wait a second, what have I just read? What do you mean by masses? Do you mean people? Do you mean users? I don't know what masses is here. So what is masses? I don't know. Let's forget about the word get once and for all in academic essays. Perhaps you can say, if you mean people there, you can say become less dependent upon fossil fuels, and then what do you mean by substitutes of contamination levels? If you want to say contamination as pollution, I don't know why you need levels. You need level when you speak about increasing or decreasing. This is when you need level. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Substitutes means replacement. You don't mean replacement, you mean causes, probably. Fossil fuels are the main causes of pollution of the environment. So levels, no, I don't think so. Yes, contamination of the environment. For example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that newly invented hybrid car, which works either A or the, because you either mean some car or a certain specific car. Newly invented hybrid car, which works with electrical components instead of fuels, which works on electricity instead of fossil fuels. Electrical components is not a very accurate description of what's happening. Reduce the pollution level by 40%. Where exactly? Where? In UK, in the US, because the research by UK government doesn't mean that it happened in the UK or I'm kind of always expecting to see the context, the full context, or the place perhaps could be, let's say in England or in Scotland or in Wales, which part of the UK maybe, and simultaneously was available in market with half of the price of fuel-based car. Why simultaneously? I don't understand. So simultaneously, why simultaneously? And you can say it was immediately available on the market at half of the price of a fuel-based car. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that increasing the use of green energy is advantageous for both the atmosphere and here you need a parallel construction, because you cannot say is advantageous and also diminishes prices. Um, because it will be a more balanced way of saying. You can say it is advantageous for both the atmosphere and the pocket of the, let's say, vehicle owners. I would go like this because, and you will show that you have a better command of language because you're using pocket as the, as you know, as a stylistic device to express the idea of money. On the other hand, although the common consumption of natural resources, again, consumption of resources. So okay, let's replace this by a synonym, is benefiting the individual and the atmosphere. The negative impact of uncontrolled use of energy cannot be overstated. Okay, careful where you tread. This is largely because with the pace of industrialization, people are using an uneven distribution of energy. You cannot say that you're using a distribution. This doesn't collocate. You can say people are using an uneven quantity of energy, or there is an uneven distribution of energy among people or among electricity users. Take recent IMF studies, for instance. Okay, if you say which shows, then it needs to be one study. Okay, so make up your mind about the number here. Which shows that studies show that if a company uses over 80% of green energy for business, then comma, in the future, comma, it will produce a threat to energy security as a major part of the production will be used by it. I didn't get it. Thus, wait. You cannot say it is stated. It can be stated beyond doubt. Okay, I'm going to do this. I didn't really understand what you meant here. I mean, I don't understand. Why will it be a threat to energy security? Because, what do you mean a major part of the production will be used by it? Production cannot use energy. Energy can be produced. It's a matter of using vocabulary and formulating a thought using that. So I really don't understand what you meant here. And here I'm trying to figure it out reading your last sentence. Thus, it can be stated beyond doubt that an uneven distribution of energy throughout the world would take the renewable resources to extinction. I hate to disappoint you, but this argument won't stand. So this needs to be removed because it is, I'm sorry to say that word, illogical. Sun, wind, and waves cannot be extinct. So, I mean, this is illogical by definition. So, no, sorry, this won't stand. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that using more green energy provides clear advantages to the society and surroundings, or let's say the ecology, I would say. Nevertheless, nevertheless, excessive use by one body, either government or private. What do you mean here? What do you mean here? I don't understand. What do you mean by body? What do you mean private here? Is not advisable. I told you about not advisable. Your argument, unfortunately, is not credible. This is physically impossible, so it doesn't work as an argument. And here you could say it could be predicted that if it does not get controlled in time, in the future, this problem will grow in importance. Which problem? What exactly do you mean? Okay, we started as very well. I really like the way you formulated your introduction, your first body paragraph, your overall, let's say, flow of the second body paragraph was great. But unfortunately, you tried to formulate an argument which is logically irrelevant and which cannot happen. So please make sure that when you brainstorm, you choose your ideas wisely. Anyway, do not be discouraged by that. Keep practicing, keep analyzing your thoughts. Ask yourself, can this argument of mine be refuted? Can anyone challenge my argument? If yes, how? does it really exist, this thing, or am I just making an empty claim? Because if you're simply making an empty claim, your essay won't work, unfortunately, and this will affect your task achievement because you're answering the task not in the way it's supposed to be answered. So do not despair. You have a great vocabulary. You have a great understanding of the situation, a great ability to provide appropriate examples most of the times. You are coherent most of the times. You have good use of connectors almost all the times. So you have efficiently implemented the use of the C2 template. So keep up the great work, and I'm sure that you can learn from your mistakes and think and plan better next time. I am so certain about this. All the best of luck, and hoping to see more of your essays.